In today's video, you're going to get to see this beautiful 1962 Volkswagen Bug. Hello everybody and welcome to Classic Car ChitChat. My name is Kevin. I'm thrilled you're joining me today. Today I have the pleasure of introducing you to two young men. They have driven all the way from, Ajax? Pickering, Ontario today to come to Mississauga to show me their beautiful car. You're going to meet Tristan, you're going to meet Joseph as well. So without further ado, let's hop in, let's go for a drive, let's check out this beautiful 1962 Volkswagen Bug. Oh, beautiful, Joseph. Do me a favor. Rev the engine for me, sir. Wow, that's a lovely sound. Honk the horn. Oh, it works. Okay. Turn it off. Come on out. Do you want to leave your lights on? Yeah, you don't want to be in a situation to drain your battery here. Hold on to the microphone. Yep. Young man, go stand beside him. You're not getting away that easy. Yeah. All right, so Joseph, tell me what you got.
So this is a 1962 Volkswagen Beetle. It's original ragtop from factory. A lot of times these cars, people try to cut the roof out and put an aftermarket one, but this one is actually original. The car came from Tennessee, and it was restored when it came down to into Canada. And yeah.
Did you do the restoration?
So the restoration was done by... There's a couple owners before me,
right.
So it was done by a man named Joe Kiss. Okay. He actually restored the car and then changed hands a few times, and then me and my grandfather ended up buying it in 2019.
Your grandfather did?
Yes.
Wow. So he was a bit of a car guy.
So he was a car guy. Growing up, me and him were always kind of into cars, and we always talked about owning a classic car together, and then the time just kind of worked out, and it was a Bug that we were looking at, and this one fell into our hands. I think it was just meant to happen.
It's absolutely gorgeous, though. I mean, the restoration work is done so nicely. The paint on it is fabulous.
Yes, there's a
lot
lot of...
How long ago was it painted even?
I believe it was painted, has to be more than 15, 20 years, I think.
You're kidding?
Yeah.
It looks fresh.
It's been a while, but they did a good job painting it for sure.
My God. So being a ragtop then,
yes.
Was that something specifically you were looking for, a ragtop versus a full hardtop?
You know what? There was no specifics. When we were looking, I just seen the Bug. It looked cool. I'm like, you know what? I showed my grandfather. He's like, yeah, you know what? This thing is nice. Let's find a Bug. And he actually told me back in 1962, he test drove a Beetle. And he ended up getting a Datsun Bluebird at the time.
No way. That's a classic car.
That's another
right
classic
there.
car.
Yeah.
So he ended up buying that car because it was a little bigger, but he test drove a Bug, and then come full circle, we ended up buying this car in 2019.
My Lord.
Yeah.
It sounds absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
So whose idea was to kind of resto mod it, for lack of better words?
The car came pretty much the way it was, but I redid the engine, put another engine in it. I did the dual exhaust on the back. It was actually a lot lower than it was now, but raised it up. The steering wheel, put in a new steering wheel with a quick release. I kind of added my personal touches to the car to make it kind of stand out a bit more. Pop the back hood, better ventilation.
It's such a beautiful, and the design of your rims.
Yes, the BRM wheels.
Lovely.
It's a classic look. So the car, it's a Cal look. That's what they call it, California look.
Okay.
And this car is actually replicated of a car from the HotVW magazine. And someone made the same car, same look and everything back. I don't know what year it was. It has to have been maybe in the 70s. And yeah, and this car is kind of like a a replica of that car.
It's sort of an iconic look to it.
Yeah.
Don't you reckon?
It's got that
like,
cow
you know,
look
it's, well,
and-
the only thing missing is maybe a surfboard on top or
Exactly,
something.
exactly
It's
it.
so sharp. Tell me about the bumpers though. So these are bumperettes. Like,
So-
what is that? What do you call these things even?
They're called T-bars.
T-bars,
And
okay.
you kind of eliminate the original bumper that goes on the front. So it kind of gives it that it's no bumper look. So it's technically a little bumper, but it's not really a bumper.
Okay. It's great. And I never quite realized, but the indicator light is embedded now as part of the main beam. Was that main headlight rather? Was
Main
that
headlight.
always the cut?
You know what? I believe so.
Okay.
And I ended up, these were actually clear when we got the car, but I ended up putting in the amber just to
Yeah.
give the car a different look.
It looks
It
sharp.
kind of make it small, subtle touches to make it stand out.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, this is such an iconic car though.
Yes.
It's absolutely beautiful. I love what you've done to it. Honestly, like the design of this car is just spectacular.
Thank you.
Always turns heads though.
Oh, for sure. For
Right?
sure. Yeah, it
For a
does.
1962 car though, like, but here's a question. Why'd your granddad and yourself, why were you looking specifically for a Bug?
You know what? I think it was just something that he was into actually the Aston Minis too. So our next car together would have been an Aston Mini that we were
Mini,
looking. We were
really?
looking for a
Okay.
Mini Cooper.
Yeah.
But the Bug, I think it was just something. It's small. It's iconic. And like I said, he test drove one back in '62, right? So I think it was kind of like he always had a thing for them.
So was your grandfather a mechanic?
No, he was actually a insurance salesman in Fiji Island, right?
No way.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
and
was an
we chatted
insurance-
about that
Yes, we
before
talked
because my
about
dad's
Fiji.
from Fiji as
Yeah,
well.
so my grandfather, he was born in Lambasa, Fiji, and then
Right.
Fiji's made up of a whole bunch of islands, so he moved to Suva,
Yes.
and that's where he met my grandmother, and then, they built their family and everything up there. And like I said, he was a photographer in the beginning. That's what he did full time. He had his own photography studio.
Okay.
And then he got into the insurance, and that's actually where he met my grandmother at the same insurance firm.
No
So,
way.
yeah.
Well, love at first sight then.
Yes,
eh?
exactly.
Is that your grandfather?
Yes, so
Oh, wow.
this was a tribute to my grandfather. This car is literally a tribute to him. I
Oh,
can
that's
never get
good
rid of
for
it.
you.
And that was one of his sayings, that time goes on always. So that's his always thing, and his biggest thing is enjoy life and do what you want to do. And he was very positive person. So it's a big impact on my life.
Absolutely.
So-
I think you've done a great job in sort of keeping his memory alive.
Oh, yeah.
And keeping this car going as well. So it's not for sale anytime soon.
No,
right?
I've
This
had a
is-
lot of offers for it, but no money can replace that feeling, So.
And you mentioned you're a mechanic yourself. So
Yes.
this helps certainly with the mechanics.
Oh
of
yeah, it
this.
helps a lot being a mechanic to work on the car. It's funny, I actually was at HR. I started in HR and
No
I ended
way.
up falling, since I was a kid, I've always wanted to be a mechanic. It's always been my passion.
Right on.
And I ended up going to school for business,
Yeah.
but something always brought me back to cars. And I ended up becoming a full-time mechanic, got my license, and yeah.
Wow.
So,
And then your friend here on the
this
other
is-
hand, I'm going to pick on Tristan for a
here,
minute.
Tristan, grab the mic, buddy.
So tell me, how did you get to know Joseph then over the
Through
years?
DJing.
Yeah,
We're both DJs. Back in high school in Pickering, Pine Ridge.
Right.
I
A
was
little shout out to Pine Ridge
yeah,
High
shout out to
School.
Pine Ridge. I was browsing Facebook and I see a picture of this guy behind like a DJ system, and I noticed him from the hallways. I'm like, oh, okay, what did I do? Send you a Facebook
Send me
message?
a Facebook message, and I'm looking at it because Tristan's a little younger than what, like a year, 2 years.
younger than you.
So I'm looking at this
He's a
message. I'm
baby,
like,
yeah.
yo, who's this little kid messaging me, And I'm like, I'm not gonna bother. And my sister's like, hey, message him back. He's looking for a friend, right? I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that. So I messaged this guy, and you know what? Ever since then, we've been best friends. Like we're brothers. We're
Right
not even
on.
friends. We're brothers. We
And-
DJ everywhere together, and
For sure. And Tristan,
Yes,
again,
sir.
it's a lovely car. Now, can we take a look at the engine there?
Yeah, for
as
sure.
well?
So it's got a 1600cc single port.
Oh my God.
If you've seen the motor in it before, it was not good. But I ended up getting this motor off a buddy of mine, Greg, from Tune Perfection. He's big into the Volkswagens. So I got the engine off of him, and it came out of a Bug that was built for a guy, and the car sat for a good, maybe 20 years or so. So the motor came out, first fire, it shot right up. So I ended up stripping it all down, changing some seals, and then all the tin in the back when my buddy's Taylor. A lot of guys helped me out with this car. So my buddy Taylor, he ended up painting all the tin for me, and then I ended up doing all the engine work, putting everything together. Me and my dad, we actually pulled out the engine in my driveway, 4 bolts, and right out
gosh.
it came.
You know what? There is something magical about the Volkswagen design, isn't it?
Yes.
Like the number one, accessibility compared to an MG or something where you kind of, it's a nuisance to get at most of the things in there, but the fact it's all a little bit more accessible.
Yep.
I love the fact the markings are even showed on your
Yeah,
belt.
this is all upgraded, this pulley system, because
Yes.
before it would have came with shims to tension it. So upgraded the pulley system, bigger distributor, better plugs. I mean, it doesn't got the power, but it's good. It
No,
cruises,
no,
it fires up.
exactly.
It's got a single carb. Eventually, my plan is to build an actual proper good motor for it. Dual
Right.
carbs, make it move a little fast, keep up with those guys with the V8s.
Yes,
but
yes,
you know what? Right now, it's a nice cruising car.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. Like,
Yeah.
just enjoy the ride as opposed
Definitely.
to what's the point of racing around anyway?
And it's
sometimes?
funny because when I bought the car, I knew nothing of air cooled. I didn't know
Okay.
something as air cooled exists. Like I've heard about it, but didn't really know much about it. So this car on its own has been a learning experience from day one, and even up till now, it's been a learning experience for me.
So, two questions then.
Mm-hmm.
Great the fact you've got the paint work going through right through there, like even the black pinstriping.
Try to match it up as best as I
Awesome
could to make
job.
it everything look
In
good.
terms of the cooling then, I noticed you
Yep.
kind of leave the trunk of it a little
Yeah,
open
so
to
it's
allow
got
some
a
ventilation.
it's got a popped out trunk lid. So what this does, it just helps with better airflow, better
Yes.
ventilation in the engine. And you know what? I actually see a difference with the cooling.
I
The only
bet.
problem is when it rains. And something with this car, anytime I drive it, it's got to rain. I don't understand, but it has to rain every
Well,
time
today
I drive
it's
it.
okay.
Today's good.
It
Right now,
rained early
we're
hours,
good.
but we're good for now.
And you know, we've cruised the car up, me and my dad. My dad, he's like my partner when it comes to going to car shows and everything like
for
that.
you,
So
good for
we
you.
take the car actually to Niagara once a year, and my same buddy Greg puts on a show called the German Air Show in
Right.
Niagara. So we cruise through the Niagara Falls, then we have a big car show the next day, and you know what? It's such a great time, and the community with the Bugs is amazing. Like
I
great
bet.
community. I built a lot of friends, met a lot of people just through a car.
Yes.
It's amazing, and that's what I love about cars is.
And how many cars show up to this event?
Oh, I think they have a couple hundred sometimes come.
Really?
It's big. It's been growing bigger throughout the years. You just started it up again.
Excellent,
So
excellent.
yeah, it's a pretty big show. You should come out and check
I
it out
would.
next
I
year.
would love to do
Yeah.
that. Yes,
You'll see a lot
definitely.
of cool Bugs, and you see everyone has their own design and their own kind of touch on their car.
Yes.
That makes it them. It makes it.
I've
unique for
actually
them,
seen
right?
images of Volkswagen Bugs becoming like really raised off the ground, several feet off the ground even, like becoming sort of monster
Monster
truck-ish.
Bugs, yeah.
But they're kind of lovely anyway.
For me, I like it low
Nice,
to the
nice.
ground. Keep
Yeah,
it low,
I like
slow.
it. I think the height is just
Yeah,
just
the height's
nice,
good. I
actually.
mean, it was lowered before we brought it
Yeah.
up. I had to make it practical for driving, especially on the streets, you know,
For
with
sure.
the potholes and everything like that.
Right
but
on.
But
Oh, it's
definitely
beautiful.
good.
Nothing
Too
How
much
much
done
space
under
in the
here.
front?
It just has the gas tank and the spare
Okay.
tire. And a couple of my cleaning products, and I got an old jerry can. I think that's from like the '60s, just to kind of
That's kind of a
touch. I
nice
like stuff from like
vintage look.
the
Yes.
vintage. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
cool,
yeah,
right? You
for
just kind of
sure.
keep it with the car.
It's
All the
funny.
wiring,
I
everything's tucked
use
back
this
there.
Chemical Guys product.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Guys, yeah, some good stuff there.
This is very nice. Actually, you get a good look at the rims here too.
Yep. So these BRM wheels, like I said, they're big for the cow look, and they just
Yeah.
have a nice stance to it, nice look to it.
And again, this is now the original Bug would have also come with a 15-inch wheel.
I believe so. I'm not too sure, to be honest,
Okay.
what it would have came with originally.
Now, is the rear a different size, or is it just the way it appears?
It's got a staggered look. So the
is,
front's a skinnier tire. It's got a wider tire on the back.
Got it. It does look sharp.
It gives it kind of that stance look to it, you know, a little bit of a
It does.
You know, it gives it a
nice
different look.
angle. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure. It gives that meanness to it.
meanness
and,
to it. Looks a little
yeah.
aggressive, right?
Yeah, it's not just a happy
It's
face.
not just a
looking
happy
car.
face, yeah.
No,
You
it's
know.
fabulous. Oh, just a beautiful machine. You guys have done a great job restoring
you,
it
thank you.
and keeping her going. So
That's it, you know.
Definitely.
And like the car, you know, before we got it, like I said, it's changed hands a few times. There was a lot of much needed TLC
Yes.
the car needed. So I kind of got in there, and you know, every so often I'd start wrenching at it, and you know,
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time trying to bring it back to where it is now today. You know.
no, it's great. The fact it was a US car to begin with.
Yeah.
Hopefully less rust issues and things like that.
So
Is the
looking
body
from
good?
the pictures of the restoration, because I have all the pictures from, because I kept in
Yes,
contact
the
with all the
record,
owners,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And it was, when he saw the car, he's like, oh, it looks good. He had it sent over. And when he had to go in to restore it, he was like, it was like a lot of rust. But
Okay.
he got in there, he did, you know, all the work trying to make it, you know, back to what it was. And a cool thing, the cool fact I found when I was looking at the pictures is on the dash, it was written Old Speed. So the
Okay.
car's name is Old Speed. So actually,
Really?
anytime anybody asks, I say the car's name is Old Speed. Yeah.
Very cool. Is this your shop then?
No, these are just different shops that are
that were part of the process.
Part of the process. So like
Very
some
cool.
performance have products from them. Tune Perfection, that's my buddy Greg. He's helped out a lot.
Excellent.
My buddy Dave from Nostalgic Restoration Garage. He's been great too. So everyone kind of helps out here.
It could be.
Yeah, goal of mine is to open up my own garage one day.
There you go.
So,
yes.
yeah.
Doing Volkswagens and others
Volkswagen,
too.
yeah.
Probably. Very cool. Very cool. I love it. Absolutely beautiful. I noticed in the back you've got these little posters created. Is that again of this car?
That's of this car. So I can pull that out. You can see how the car was at one time. It's kind of through the restoration process.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
Let me take
Look to it.
Yes, my brother-in-law actually designed this for me.
Wow.
But this is some pictures. So on the top left there,
So
you can
that's what it
see
was like
that's what it was like before. And then if you look at the bottom corner, that's how that engine looked that you see in the engine bay now.
You've done a
So
great
I took it
job.
apart, try to make it, change all the tin up, make it look the way it is now.
Very sharp. And it's really that simple.
And you can
It's
see
just-
the old speed.
Oh yeah,
right there. You know, it's kind of cool. Small
It
touches
is
that
cool.
you see as you know the process goes on. And someone had their own rendition of it back then, and now it's mine to change it up and make it the way I like it.
So how long have you had the car then?
So 2019. 2019 I've had it. So
Okay.
up till now, so we're about 4 years, 5 years.
5 years, say. Okay.
Yep.
And this
So-
other poster that you got here?
Oh, that's just a bit of a write-up
Oh,
on the
nice.
car.
Nice.
Yeah, so just kind of a little bit of features about
Oh,
it.
lovely.
So when you go to car shows, just kind of display it if anyone asks, they want to see kind of.
No, it's cool. You know, I think people should do this.
Yeah. I had the car at Motorama actually 1 year, so.
Very cool.
good for that.
And you know what? It also pays respect to the people that worked on the car.
That's a
and-
big thing. Like I've had a
Not
lot of
just-
help, a lot
yeah.
of guys, like
It's
I said, in the
not-
community.
It's just not you
like,
doing it, right?
Yeah,
So-
and you know, like all these guys, seeing a young guy like me come into it, and they're just willing to help, right? Everyone shares their secrets, tells me, hey Joe, like I pick some of those guys' brains all the time because I'm learning about it, right?
For sure.
So all those guys, help me out a lot. Greg, Dave, a guy named Clyde from Bug Z, like all these guys, if I message them right away, they're there to help me, right?
you.
Buddy Taylor, Drew, a lot of people.
Tell me about this exhaust system of yours then.
So this
where,
has
where
got
does this idea come
This
from?
has got a dual exhaust on the back. I just like the look of it. I thought it looked kind of cool. Before it had another exhaust that just kind of regular tailpipe sticks out the back. And then I'm like, you know what? I saw this like double exhaust on another Bug, and I'm like, you know what? This looks kind of cool. And I'm like, you know what? The black with the silver tips is gonna give a nice look to the car. So that's one of the features I added in while I was doing the engine swap at the time.
No, it's lovely.
To kind of give it a different look.
The other thing is like this rubber. It is actually rubber that goes all.
Rubber that goes in between the fender and the actual body.
Nice,
So
nicely done.
the rubber in there, and then it's got
So that's all
trim
brand
along
new.
the side.
Like it's. I mean, this is not any of it's original though, is it? Like you did all this?
No, not much of it's original because the car was fully restored.
Yeah.
But all the body panels, all of that, the main tin, everything's all kind of original.
Yeah.
But the rubbers and the seals and all that were replaced.
This is a lovely white though.
Yes.
You know, I don't know, like it's an Arctic white, like the white, but it looks very sharp, and the black contrast is gorgeous.
Yes.
What's this Wasted Cars company?
So Wasted Cars is actually my Instagram
That's you,
page. That's
okay,
me.
all right.
So my whole thing behind Wasted Cars is that people are like, oh, you're wasting money on your car, you're wasting money on this. You know what? Okay, why not call it Wasted Cars, right?
Very cool.
Because we're wasting our money, but it's a passion of ours and we love it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that's the big thing with cars. Like, it's a passion. It brings a community together, and everyone can tell a story. Everyone can talk, right?
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? It keeps you motivated, keeps you excited. It's why you do what you do.
exactly it.
Because there's other
Exactly
ways to waste money as well. but
Exactly
this
it.
is
But
a
at
good
least
way
it's
to do
something
it.
that you love doing, right?
Definitely.
And
And people see and appreciate that, hey, that takes work and effort to do that.
1,000%.
It's huge. I love your side mirrors too.
Yes.
Like it's got that vintage look to it. and
Vintage
it's
look, yeah.
Very sharp. Very sharp.
Circle mirrors, you got the little pop-outs on the
Nice.
side. These back windows actually pop out too, so good
Very
cooling.
cool. That's your air conditioning
That's my
system.
air conditioning right there.
You know what? Surprisingly, it makes a big difference too.
It does.
That
it
vent,
does.
oh, it's classic. So, can I take a look inside
Yes.
there as well, Joseph? Look at that. Hey, so simple when you think about it. Just a simple panel.
Simple panel.
No storage, none of that palaver, just basic
This
car.
simple
This is
panel.
it.
It's got a one-piece
Wow.
dash.
Very slick. No tack on this though, hey?
So I put a tack on, like an upgraded tack, but originally there would be no tack, no.
Never was, right?
Never was.
Okay. Very, very sharp. I like your shifter.
Thank you. That's a Hirsch shifter.
Nice, and the fact you've got an ashtray slot there as well, again, it's a testament to the,
Yes, yeah.
the vintage engineering and how ashtrays were a big part of people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's great. Now, to actually slide the vinyl roof back and forth,
Yeah.
bit of a hassle?
It's pretty simple. Turn the lever and pull it back.
Okay.
Yep.
Very, very cool. It's lovely. The steering wheel is very sharp too.
Yeah, I thought so. It came with a white steering wheel actually, and I'm like, you know what, that wood grain will look really good on it.
Yeah.
So I did the wood grain and I actually put a quick release in so you can take the steering wheel out. A little bit of theft protection.
So, and that there's just a lever for that?
Yeah, so if we go in here, we can just push it. You gotta kind of get in there. And it comes right out.
How cool is that?
Yeah, so it's a quick release and you can just kind of hang it. Or if you want to take it in with you, it's just a little, you know, something
It looks cool too,
It looks
right?
cool.
Absolutely.
There's really no functionality behind it, but it just
cool.
looks cool, right?
Yeah. The radio is not the original radio.
So it is an original Volkswagen radio, but it doesn't work or anything
Okay.
like that. But it's an original radio in there. Yeah.
Great job polishing it up again, making it look like, again, it's like looks like one of those retro styles of the
Yes.
original radios, right?
And what's kind of cool is you can actually buy a retro looking radio, but it has the Bluetooth in it and everything, and you can put it in your car and it'll look kind of cool. So that's something I got to do in the future is put a system in it.
But for now, the
I love
engine-
listening to the engine. That's
exactly,
it. I
that-
hop in there.
Yes.
No noise, just engine. That's it.
That
I'm
is a
hearing exhaust and
symphony
engine.
right there of,
Yep.
of music. So, okay, we should go for a little drive.
Yeah,
let's
sure.
do that. That's a truck-like sound.
It does sound like,
Sound
a
truck.
diesel.
It
right?
does, absolutely does. And this is kind of cool with the
rag top over
Yeah,
there.
very nice. Okay, so out of here, we're gonna turn right at the lights.
All right.
Now the suspension, did you modify them?
So the back's got air shocks, so you can lower it on that.
Okay.
And the front has an I-beam suspension with, it's kind of like a torsion bar, but as you tighten it, they'll lower it or vice versa, right?
Yeah.
So it's got that, but my goal is eventually to do a, what's it called? To do air suspension.
Right.
I think air suspension would be a nice feature to the car. It still has four-wheel drum brakes, so I got to do four-wheel disc brakes, better stopping. So different things, but definitely want to go air ride eventually.
And something you can control remotely as well? Is that like, are you gonna try and get it to hop? Is that?
No, not
Ju-
hop, not
ju-
hop.
okay.
Just kind of lower it to the ground,
Yeah.
and yeah, you can kind of adjust the height as you want to go. When you go to a car show, you can air it out, have it all the way to the ground.
Yeah, just for looks.
Just
and
for looks.
Photo ops.
And then
yeah.
when you're driving somewhere kind of where there's a lot of bumps, you can kind of just raise it up, and you don't have to really worry
Yeah.
about the car, you know. So it gives you that kind of that look to it.
For sure. But she handles the bumps well. Yeah, no, it's a nice ride
Yes.
actually. And the gearing on this,
It's got a four-speed
Okay.
manual.
So one up, down.
One up, down, and reverses
To the far left.
To the left and down. Yeah.
The engine sound is very different.
Yes.
Totally.
It does have a different sound to it.
Yeah. It's not what I expected
own
to hear.
Tone, but you know when a Volkswagen is driving or when
Yes.
a Volkswagen is starting up.
Now I gotta ask you. Now the headliner and that, the original would have been black like that too.
You know what? I feel like it would have been a tan.
Oh, okay.
It would have been a tan interior before. But yeah, the black is just to add to
the outside.
add to the look. But it's funny. It's for old cars, it's got its creaks. It's got, you know, it makes its noise.
Yeah. It's called
It
character.
doesn't feel stable, but you know what? It's a nice drive. You know?
It's fun.
it's fun. You hop in it and you go cruising, right?
True. And truthfully, I mean, you know as well as I do, when you drive cars like this, it's everybody else you got to look out for.
Yes,
You
exactly.
certainly get enough thumbs up, so that's not that's not the issue. But they're also get awfully close to you, and
Well, some people, they don't even worry that it's a classic car. They don't care. They just
No,
come right in
it's
front
true.
of you, and you're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, man, like, come
No-
on."
no
You know?
respect.
No
No
respect. And then you have your other people there that it gives them a smile, you know.
for sure. And we're going to turn right in this street here.
Okay. Another thing I love about classic cars, like I said, everyone has their own story with it. And you know, like I was at the bank one time, and this old lady actually came up to me, and she said she remembers when her parents had one, and they would put the Christmas tree in the back and go Christmas shopping,
Yeah.
and they'd all hop into this little bug, you know,
Right.
and it's cool to hear everyone's story and their thoughts about it. It brings
Sorry,
back
right here, yeah.
brings back some nostalgia.
Oh,
you know?
for sure,
I
for
was
sure.
at Motorama, and a guy came to me. He's like, "Hey, like, He's like, this is a weird question, but he's like, can I just smell inside the car? I'm like, yeah, no problem, right? So he went and he smelled it. Then he explained to me that the old seats used to be made from horsehair.
Okay.
So it had a specific smell, and he said he remembers when his dad had the car, and just that smell brought back memories for him. So I think it's just, it's cool things like that with classic cars that make me enjoy it even more,
Well, there you go, Joseph. Maybe that's a business opportunity right there.
You never know.
The smell of a VW. With the MGs, it's the burning oil smell on the outside.
All these cars burn oil, drip oil too.
Yes. We call it rust proofing in England.
Exactly, yeah. Free rust proofing, right?
Yeah, built right into the car. Oh yeah, keep going straight. It's a fun little car though.
Yeah, it's fun, Like I said, it doesn't make a lot of power, but it's definitely a fun cruising car.
Yes. And when you're cruising on the highway, no issues, like your drive over, for example?
You just get on the highway and just go, and you're doing about 195 to 100 on the highway. Yeah. It's great. You got your windows down, you got fresh air in.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
Enjoying the drive.
Yeah.
And we'll turn right here. So when you mentioned about your grandfather and the connection to the Volkswagen, that was back in Fiji?
That was back in Fiji, yes.
Right.
So that was like his first car he was buying.
Yeah.
I believe it was his first car. And he test drove both the Datsun Bluebird and the Bug, and he just said the Datsun Bluebird was a bit bigger for him, so he went with that.
Left here?
He went with that option.
Okay.
But the Mini was the next car. He was like, Joe, let's look at a Mini.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool car for us to own, right? So one day I'll get a Mini.
Of course. And then what's your goal in terms of a car, Tristan? You said your dad's got a Mustang.
Yeah, he's got a 5-liter Mustang GT convertible.
Right.
Love that car, 2014.
Yeah.
I enjoy driving it.
I bet, yes.
Yeah, so mine, I love because I grew up around, my dad always had Camaros.
Yep.
I grew up around the Camaro. My dad's a General Motors. He's in production supervisor at GM.
Oh, perfect. So you got a connection there.
He was part of the, the first, like the Transformers where they introduced the newer Bumblebee?
Oh, no way, yes.
Like the 5th generation Camaro.
Yep.
So he was part of that, helping them launch that and stuff like that. So there's something about, I remember going to the Oshawa plant.
Yes.
And they were reintroducing the Camaro there. And there's something about the 5th gen Camaro that I really really like. So I want to get a 5th gen Camaro ZL1. And then my dad also had a blue 1979 Z28 that I remember.
Right, exactly like the 1980.
Yeah. There's something about that car, and I think once I get that, it'll bring me back to childhood. So
right on.
That's it.
No, good for you.
Thank you.
I think there you go. You got a thumbs up there. You got to have a passion, and I think it's just cool.
Yeah.
That you try and relive it. So.
Yeah, exactly.
So what was your very first car then, Tristan?
My very first car was a '93 Honda Civic.
It was a Civic, okay.
Yeah, so I've always been like I was always a Honda guy.
Yeah.
And then I had my Hondas and stuff, and then I got my Volkswagen. I bought GTI. So that's my summer car, and then ended up getting the Bug, and then kind of grew into the whole German scene of the cars.
Right.
But I still love Hondas.
Yeah.
One of my goals though is to own a I'd say about 79, 80 Malibu. My dad used to have one, and I want to build that into like a nice drag car, nice cool American muscle car.
You know what? It's always funny. Like back in England, my dad had a Triumph.
Yeah.
And it's always like you kind of want those cars that your dad had.
Yeah.
I don't know why. And the Triumph was nothing special, but it was just like there's this connection.
It's a connection, exactly like you're saying. You just think about when they were driving it and what they felt at that time, and it just makes you feel good like that.
So true. Like you and your connection to the old Camaros.
Camaro.
Yeah.
And even the IROC. My dad had an IROC generation too. So it's like the Camaro. Something about the Camaro for me.
Yeah.
Or the Trans Am.
Yeah.
I love an 87 GTA.
Right.
So something like that one day,
For sure.
Yes, sir.
Very cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, we've got this plate of yours. What's that? This is a perfect plate for this car.
Just Buzz. So Just Buzz was actually a saying that my grandfather had on his cars in Fiji because of his insurance sales.
Okay.
So his thing was Just Buzz, just to call him. So I'm like, you know what? Let me get the plates made to match the car, Just Buzz. Unfortunately, they won't accept it because I guess it has Buzz on the back at the end of it. So maybe it has
the
to do with drinking.
MTO says this is not a good
This is not a good thing because I guess it says Buzz, maybe someone's Buzz. But you know what? I got a replica one made just to go with the car.
Why
but
not?
I thought it was pretty cool just to kind of, you know, it was like his saying, his slogan.
Because
you know?
that would be perfect.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
that would have been
That
nice
would be perfect.
for the car. So.
Oh, what a shame. But okay, guys, I want to say thank you to both. Tristan, you and I connected over a year ago, right?
To get this car
absolutely.
on the channel.
Yeah, and I appreciate that and the efforts we've made over that time to get together. I am truly honored that you guys came all the way from Pickering to come and see me today, showing me this beautiful car. I hadn't seen it until today. So again, back to you though, Tristan, when you had said, oh, he's got a bug, you got to see this car. It's not what I expected. This is spectacular. It's absolutely gorgeous. So
thank you.
Thank you to both of you for sharing this. And I know your grandfather's looking down on you, smiling away because you're doing him the honor of keeping her moving. And kudos to you. Yeah. It's great to see young people in this.
You know something? I was thinking earlier. It was cloudy.
It was cloudy.
It was cloudy. As the video comes out, it gets sunny. So he's watching over.
Absolutely, he's smiling at you. So again, thank you to both.
Thank you for having us on the channel and on the show. You know,
Joseph,
really appreciate it.
I feel humbled and honored that you came, and I'm proud that I can show this video and let people see what you're doing in terms of keeping the hobby alive, but also honoring the car because she's beautiful, but also your grandfather's wishes and everything else. And I think that's priceless. So thank you.
He would have been happier now. He's big on social media too, so he was on Facebook all the time. So if he was around, he would have posted it up.
He would have been a subscriber. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, he would have appreciated it.
Exactly.
For sure.
Thank you again.